Hey guys, we are back with Calimero, the mainframe. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but this name here, Calimero, is comes from basically a cartoon because it was like an all black. I don't remember if it was like a duck or an animal. I don't know, but it's quite famous around here. But anyhow, today I brought some replacement battery modules for the single board computer. Of course, it does not run. I mean, it's IBM. Of course, it doesn't run on standard batteries. It uses these snap hat modules that contain both a battery and a clock crystal, and they just snap on top of the little chip. I bought two used ones and one new, just to play my chances. And we're going to replace them, and it's a bit of a pain, actually, because it sits on the SBC board, but it's fairly deep inside. So last time I had a bit of a fight getting to the chip because I wanted to read the part number. I think this time it's easier if we just pull the entire SBC card out. And oh god, oh, that was on tight. So I'm just gonna remove the side panel without this thing rolling around. Oh, there we go. This is heavy. It's really heavy. Okay, so this is the SBC. I don't know, there's not much light, so you cannot see much, but the battery module is right under there, which, as you can see, I mean, it's a bit of a fiddle. So I think we're just gonna yank this board here out. For doing this, we need to remove these two cables. There's another cable which I already removed last time for the Wacom LAN and reset button, which goes like in the corner right there. It's near impossible to plug in. And then two screws here and two more on the back, and I think there may be more in between, because these are basically double cards. So when the card is double, it also, I think, has more screws around. It's all written in the manuals. So let me yank this thing out and I'll be right back. Okay, so lots of pain, suffering and swearing later. This is the SBC card. It's very generic, actually. I know it has like IBM in the BIOS, but I think it's an off-the-shelf product. I couldn't find the manufacturer, to be honest, but it looks like a thing for industrial control, basically. You'd also find this on quite a few industrial control devices. The only special thing is that it's got SCSI, because they usually don't, but it also has like this chips and technologies thing. So, and that I think, I don't know if it's just the chipset, because it's got the full Intel set. So this may just be just for IDE and possibly some of the LPC IO. But that's the module right there. It just unsnaps. There we go. Out with the old, and you can see the chip right there, and we put the hat back on, hoping that it will fit, and apparently it does not. Why? Because I was putting it in the other way around, that's why. Okay, there we go. New one in, old one out, and you don't actually need to replace this module here if you want to do it on the cheap, because these two with where the slot is are the battery pins, and you can probably dig into it with like a knife or even drill it and solder on a new coin cell battery on it. So you can actually reuse this, and I will keep this one here because I do plan on doing this trick, because then if I just solder on a coin cell battery holder, there's plenty of space here, so I can just reach in and switch out the coin cell without removing the SBC or just having to search or hunt down another one of these modules. Of course, I already have 2 more, but again, I don't know how long they will last. You can also give it, see the other components. So we have 1 free slot of memory. This machine has 128 megs of RAM. And this is the puny little Celeron chip and the fan. As you can see by the bearing, they're a bit shot, but we just pretend we didn't see that. Voltage regulator model for the CPU is not very power hungry, so it doesn't really need much. And same for the heatsink. One could probably upgrade this to like a full-blown Pentium 3 chip, and I think it would almost go to a gig of RAM, if I don't remember right, but don't quote me on that. So one could really pump it up, but I don't think that would change the performance of the machine. And with the board removed, you can see there's a flex here that joins the 2 boards. So this board here, you cannot see a thing, but this board here goes to the back plane. Well, this board here is the card cage basically. And you see there are PCI slots and PCI switches, because of course to have all these many slots, you need a switch. But you can see down there you have the BD connectors right here. Then the board ends, and you have this flex that carries power from the back plane to the rest of the card cage. So what I'm gonna do now is slide the SBC back in and see if the settings that I put in the BIOS will remain saved, and hopefully we will have the IDE channels enabled. For power, that's a lot simpler. You see there are some terminal posts, screw-on posts here. So I picked a cable from a junk power supply. You have all the voltage rails, and I just screwed in the wires in their respective posts. So we also have power. So with this combination, I think you can even leave a hard drive inside of here, maybe mount it on a bracket rather than these plastic covers, or maybe just even on top of one of those plastic covers. And we can actually leave a hard drive in there, no problem, or even an SSD. That would be even easier. So I'm rambling too much again. Let's put this board here back in. And also, in case you noticed, the battery for the memory of the main SSA RAID controller has leaked, as you would expect. So that's another thing that we probably need to address. I don't know how necessary it is, and of course I'm not going to be running any critical stuff on it, so I don't think that's too much of a problem, but that's another thing to note for. Anyhow, let's keep on moving. Okay, so got the SBC back in. It wasn't that bad actually. This cable here, absolute nightmare. This thing here, absolute nightmare, because you need to align every single one of these brackets. This one here broke off into these slots, so this thing will slide in. In fact, last time, if you saw the video before, it was not mounted properly, and I don't think for how long it will remain mounted properly. We have power into the machine, so we are now ready to flip the switch. Doesn't happen much actually at first. You will see the OCAs start up. The 2 AMDs have power, and now the main rail is up, and the machine will slowly bring itself back to life. So you see, this is the camel card, which is the card that talks from the oh, actually I need to shut off the heating. This is the card that talks from the SBC to the main processor. And it's of course a custom thing, but hey, this thing is on. The hard drives are coming up. You see them pulling down, so they should be getting ready, hopefully. I can see them clicking. They're still coming up. It's pretty good. I only get the CMOS checksum bed now, so that's good news. This means that the battery is good. I can do F1, and we can go through the settings. And yeah, let me just go through them. I won't bore you with that, but we'll do a reboot and see if they remain. So I typed in today's date. I'm also going to enable, I don't know, no, let's leave it disabled USB because I don't know how much that works under OS 2, but somewhere around here, and it was not in this then. Let's see, where was it? I don't think it's here. No. So onboard LAN enable, onboard SCSI enable. Offboard, no, there should be onboard IDE. Where was it? I'm sure it was somewhere around here. There are so many options on this thing actually. There it is. So both. We don't not gonna touch any else of this. This does not change. Save setting and exit. Let's see what we get. I put the machine back together, but if I could have started looking for a hard drive to plug in to see if that would actually work. That would have been smart because now I need to take it apart again. But let's just see if it saved the settings. Was it here? No. Apparently yes. So that's good. So maybe we have a shot. Let me try and find a hard drive somewhere here, plug it in and see what happens. So this is quite embarrassing. I don't have a spare IDE hard drive here. Since I collect fancy computers, they all have fancy disks. So this is ESDI, that is SCSI, and that is actually the tape for the S360. That's SCSI, but also as an IDE controller. This was SCSI, but somehow converted to IDE, so that's what I temporarily borrowed. Like this box here, it's fiber channel. That box there, SCSI. I could steal it from our computer, but yeah, I don't have a spare disk here with me, but it's only like 2% full. So everything else, I still have it at another location, and that's where I probably have my stash of IDE disks. But I got it connected. I actually hot plugged it, and it's detected. I don't know if it's detected properly. It doesn't seem like it, because I don't know if it has to show number of cylinders and heads and sectors and such, and the size 655. No, it's not detected properly because this disk here, it's 160 gigabytes. So I also destroyed my finger in trying to rummage through all the stuff. But anyway, things are not easy. Things are not so easy at all. At this point, I think I'm just gonna take apart. No, those are SCSI as well. What's in here? How big are you? 40 gigs? You're next. Let me just take that disk out, plug it in instead of the 160 that is in there, and see if it gets detected properly. Okay, take two with the PowerMac G4 hard drive. That's 40 gigabytes. It's detected as 39097. That's 39 gigabytes. That's, I don't know. The good news about this is that because it comes from a Mac, it's not gonna boot from it, so it's not gonna start into whatever operating system was on this, meaning that we can exit without saving. Yeah, sure. And it would hopefully start OS 2, and then I need to figure out how to kindly ask OS 2 to list all the available disks to see if that is detected. I'll be right back once again. So I kind of have to wonder, are there even drivers for the IDE controller on this OS 2 installation? I had a bit of a fight. In fact, after putting the battery, somehow the display now defaulted to 640 by 480, which is something I never did before. And the resolution doesn't change dynamically. You have to set it and reboot the machine, so that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, there's just one disk. and that's basically, oops, no, wrong application. So F3. There's just one disk apparently, and that's the SSA disk array. At least we know what the layout is, but yeah, I think that nothing is easy as it looks. Of course, if we go now, I wanted to use IDE for a reason, because IDE it's then easily adapted to USB, so I can then plug it into a more modern machine and then copy the data from there. But again, if we have to use SCSI, it's not a big deal. The thing is, I think SCSI is possible, because if I go here, where is it? System setup, hardware manager. Now, I'm not an expert on OS2, let me add, but I don't see the IDE controller from this list. You see, you have the video, you have DMA, local bus, CPU, the physical device tree, and the ISA bus, PCI bus, diskette drive, floppy controller, but there's no IDE controller in this list. But there is, of course, SCSI, which is right here, AIC 7870. So if I put in a SCSI disk, that's probably gonna be detected. In fact, I can see here it's 4,0. That means it's ID0 LAN ID4 LAN 0. So I could try with a SCSI disk. In fact, I already have the cables. I did bring some extra cables, which are now falling apart, but I do have some extra wide cables that I can put instead of the tape and CD drive. And of course, I have no shortage of SCSI disks around here. But I wanted to use IDE. So I'm gonna look around a little bit more, but we also can see here that the file system is HPFS. Yeah, HPFS, which is the OS2 file system. That means that I need basically OS2 if I want to copy the data over. So my plan now is probably to get a hard drive in, partition it in the same way as this, and then copy over all the data from each and every partition, see if that disk is bootable, and if that disk is bootable and lets me IPL the machine, which is highly likely that it will, I will then image that disk. It's not really the cleanest of processes, but the other option would be to remove the SSA card, put it in an RS6000, load AIX, see if AIX works, find a way to image the drive, have a disk that's large enough, which is 20 gigabytes, to hold the image. It's a bit more of a convoluted process. So if I can copy the data over, that would be perfect. There's another tool called DFC, which should be able to work with OS2 volumes, but at the same time, it's highly unlikely that it will support SSA. So my first, and I can actually get the SSA drivers from this image here. Maybe put the drivers on another install of OS2 or on a boot floppy, maybe alongside the IDE drivers, and then maybe use that alongside DFC. That's probably the plan. So I get the SSA drivers, and yeah, I think this is I'm too tired for processing any longer. Getting the data off of SSA is an absolute pain in the ass. I've dealt with so many protocols: fiber channel, ESDI DBA, weird flash memories, but this is putting up a fight. Because I mean, SSA was an open standard. The thing is, I think IBM made it an open standard. It's just that the only company that used it was IBM, and it was only used on mid to high-end products. So the ESS, the Shark, also ran on SSA disks, I think. And on the x86 platforms, they weren't not used much. And there is Windows 95 support for this, but I'm not even gonna try. So yeah, my next try is probably to load up a floppy with the correct drivers and DFC, if everything fits in a single floppy, hopefully, and see if that will detect both the SSA array and the IDE hard drive. If that is not the case, I will just jump to SCSI. Just pick a SCSI disk that's the right size, actually, because this is probably, there's also size limit within OS2, so I have to be careful on that. So I need to pick, I don't know, a 36 gigabyte drive or an 18 gigabyte, but then I have to be very precise with partitioning because I want to keep the same partition layout, and then find a way to copy over the stuff from there. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the update, and see you next time. Bye.